My name is Leo Connors, and welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. Tonight, I got a special guest, all the way from Connecticut, professional wrestler Ryan Fraust.
Good to see you, man.
You too. How you been?
Good, great, fantastic.
I
Thanks.
think we've known each other just from being around shows a couple of years.
Years, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let's
I've been waiting to come on this show for a couple of years.
Well, that's awesome, man. Because it's so. I'm glad I put the post out. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I got lazy booking people. I didn't know who to ask. You know what I mean, and all that. So I'm glad you hit me up.
Hey, thank you.
No problem. All right, Ryan, where'd you grow up?
Connecticut.
Okay.
Moved around a lot, you know, when I was younger, but through Waterbury, Watertown, Middlebury, Connecticut area. You know, I've ventured. I've been in New York City, been in Amarillo, Texas, I've been in Vegas. Wow. You know, I've definitely spent time in a lot of different places, but Connecticut has been home. Right. No matter how many times I try to leave, I always end up back, so.
All right. When did you first see pro wrestling?
I was a child.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the living room floor on my tummy watching when my great-grandmother used to watch wrestling.
Nice.
And we would just watch together, you know.
That's cool.
She'd always rent the old WrestleMania VHSs, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I built that bond. And then my grandfather on my mother's side, I would go to their house and try to watch wrestling, and he'd say, "Turn that shit off, don't you know it's fake?" I said, "Come on, man. I guess I do know it's fake, and I want to watch it. Like, this is what I want to watch."
Yeah. Nobody wanted to watch wrestling in my house either. Yeah, nobody. It was crazy. All right. Who were some of your favorites when you first started watching?
Macho Man Randy Savage was my absolute favorite growing up.
Right.
You know, and then I got a little older, and I liked Shawn Michaels a lot, and he was feuding with Bret, and I really liked Bret.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, but Shawn Michaels does all the other stuff.
Yep.
And now as an adult, as an old man, I'm like, Bret was right.
Yeah. No, you're right. 'Cause I like Shawn too, and I like them both, but I like Shawn more than Bret. Sure. But now I appreciate Bret a lot more.
Oh, I think Bret's the best wrestler who ever did it.
Yeah, the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So your great-grandmother was into it, and your grandfather wasn't.
Yeah.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right.
No. Came up by
what
myself.
about your friends? Were your friends into it?
So it's funny because I was like obsessed.
Right.
And a lot of my friends were like, oh yeah, wrestling's cool. You know, but I would rather play soccer.
Yeah.
But wrestling's cool, but I would rather listen to Metallica.
Yeah.
So, but I was obsessed.
Right.
You know, I went to college for acting because I didn't know how to pursue wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
If I knew coming out of high school I could have found a wrestling school and gone to a wrestling school, I would have.
Right.
But I wouldn't take anything back necessarily, but the way things turned out, it's fine. But yeah, I was obsessed forever.
That's wild, because I was obsessed, and a lot of my friends liked it, like you said, they liked it. But I mean, if there was a regular TV show they liked better, they'd watch that over wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, but they did like wrestling, like in the yard and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun growing up. All right, when did you know that wrestling was something you wanted to do? Were you really little, or?
From laying on the living room floor watching with Nan.
Wow.
And like I said, I went to college. I literally said, well, if I can't wrestle, I guess I'll just do acting.
Yeah.
And I went to school. I got a degree in performance and theater arts.
Yeah.
You know, and I always, you know, Ron Zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Kowalski guy.
Yep.
I'm in New Hampshire, but you know,
Been wrestling a long time.
We're in Kowalski, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I would sing for metal shows because while I was studying acting, I was also studying singing, and like I was scratching that performance itch because I always wanted to perform, even though I wanted to wrestle.
Right.
You know, and Ron Zombie, I'd always say like, yeah, I'm gonna wrestle someday and we're gonna have a match, and he was always like, all right, dude. Well, I have a torn ACL right now. Yeah. Whatever. But I don't know if he believed me or not. But it happened.
Nice. We're going to talk about that after. And I did have a question earlier, like for later, I was going to say what instrument you play, but you said you were a singer.
I sang, yeah.
Okay.
I wish I could have played any instrument because then you can compose whole songs and contribute more.
I love music. Music's my favorite thing, even more than the Bruins and wrestling. I just love music. But I always wished I was played an instrument. Okay. Were you always a big kid?
I was always tall.
Okay.
I was always lean.
Right.
When I wrestled in high school, I weighed like 185, and you had to be 181 to be in that weight class.
Sure, had to
I
lose
think, or I was 189 and you had to be 187, and I had no weight to lose. I couldn't. There was no way.
Yeah.
So I wrestled up.
Yeah.
My first season wrestling in high school, I wrestled kids who were 30 pounds heavier than me.
Wow.
I mean, I went 5-5.
That's all right.
Wrestling
kids that are heavier than you, I mean, that's, hard.
But yeah, no, I was very lean.
Right.
Yeah, and then I got old and fat.
I hear you on that. When did you go to your first show?
I wouldn't know. I was young.
Yeah.
My mother and her husband at the time, so I'm thinking somewhere around kindergarten.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or a little old, or third grade.
Right.
Because we were in Woodbury, Connecticut at that time. That's how I'm trying to line it up. And I didn't know what alcohol was at the time. I was a kid. And we're pulling out of the parking lot, the parking garage at the Hartford Civic Center. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan had wrestled. And all these adults in their cars were going, "Oh!" And I'm a kid, and I'm like, what's wrong with all these people?
Yeah.
Like, I like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but why is everyone being so funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were hammered and they were going home.
Yeah. I'm a fan of alcohol.
Yeah, I believe you.
I am.
I have been. I'm trying not to drink as
There you
much,
go. I hear you. See, I don't have a drinking problem. I had a cocaine problem. Is what I had, and I just can't. You know what I mean? I know enough. If somebody even says, "Hey, I'm out of there,"
Stay away from it.
You know what I mean? Because it's better for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's been almost 40 years since I've done it, so it's been a long, long time.
I don't know you that well, but I'm proud of you, bud.
Thank you very much. What about your first indie show? Do you remember that?
I went to?
Yeah, or were you already a worker?
No. It was in either Thomaston or Torrington, Connecticut. Psycho Sid, Jake the Snake Roberts, King Kong Bundy. This guy who was riding, and I'm not talking junk about this guy. Right. I don't know him personally, but he was riding off of Shane Douglas with the yellow and black, with the triple threat franchise stuff. And he had a group called the Pittsburgh Steel Team.
Go ahead.
I'm not talking junk about this guy by comparing him to Shane Douglas.
Right.
I'm just saying he was rocking that gimmick at the time.
Yeah.
And we went and saw that show. This guy Sledge, who I've never heard of or seen since, even though I'm in wrestling. We loved him. He was a jobber. It was cool.
Yeah.
The guy Spider, who unfortunately passed away.
Dan Quirk, very good kid, man.
There were a lot of people. Juan Xavier, who ended up Ring of Honor, a big deal.
Oh, yeah. The late Xavier, he passed away.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He passed away 4 years ago. Yeah. Yep. Great guy, too. And I was in contact with him. He was actually trying to get back into wrestling because he had done MMA. And I hooked him up with Jose Perez. And I don't know how much they did, but then eventually he passed. Yeah, it's very sad, man. He was a real good guy.
Yeah.
I actually had a picture of him and my son, and he gave me his address, and I mailed it to him. And he signed it for me and stuff.
I have a Polaroid of him that I took.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was a great wrestler.
He was great.
He really was.
I think he might have done the first 450 I ever saw.
Wow. And it sounds to me like that might have been a Mike Spada show. Because of the old WWF guys.
Well, it was NEW.
Oh, was that? Okay.
Which is still happening.
Oh, all right.
But I don't think the gentleman who's in charge of NEW now, who
was that Michael O'Brien?
Mike Lombardi.
Oh, Mike Lombardi. Yes.
I don't think he was in charge then.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I'm not sure. I don't know. But.
Well, it sounded like a pretty good show, though. I mean, especially if Xavier was on it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. All right. I know, and hopefully a lot of people that watch the show know, but who trained you?
Slick Wagner Brown.
Yes.
I mean, he stabbed me in the back, and he is a horrible person, and he's done a lot of crummy things at Test of Strength recently. But he is my trainer. I started at PWA in Connecticut when it was in New Haven, and then it moved to Cheshire with Joseph von Schmidt.
Oh, okay.
It's not their fault. I was just in and out. I was not ready to commit. I didn't know that I was going to be able to really do it.
Right.
They closed, and they referred us to Test of Strength. And then when I got to Test of Strength, again, nothing against PWA. It's just that I realized, like, I'm not getting any younger. If I'm going to do it, I got to do it now.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to be at WrestleMania next year. I'm just trying to, like, do this as much as I can because I love it. And Wagner got me right, and it was like 6 months that I was before I was working matches. Yeah.
And Slick is a lineage from Walter Killer Kowalski.
Directly.
Yeah, I mean, and I've known Slick for over 20 years, man, and I love him. He's my daughter, like I told you, my daughter's absolute favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure Bobby Ocean's a coach too, right?
Bobby Ocean is our assistant coach. He's there at every class.
Yeah.
You know, he's always offering the insight. You know, when we'll do our practice match, and Wagner will go, Bobby Ocean, and Bobby starts all the critiques, all the feedback, every time. And Bobby Ocean's real funny because, like, he's so soft spoken.
Yeah, and he hits hard.
He hits very hard. I'm lucky enough that I haven't wrestled him many times because he hits very hard.
Yeah, he does.
I want to wrestle him more because I want to test myself.
Right.
But he'll text me out of the blue. He'll text me like when I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, and he'll be like, "Hey, how you doing, man?"
Nice.
It's just because he wants to check in. He wants to make sure the students are doing right. He wants, especially because he's been hurt. He screwed up his ankle. So he just started doing matches again. I think it might have been this Friday was his first match back after the injury.
Oh, nice.
And I wouldn't. There's nobody else I'd rather have in my corner.
Right.
You know,
No doubt.
He's the man.
It's definitely. I mean, you guys are way down there. I've only been to one test of strength show and stuff, but you really can't go wrong with those guys, man.
You can't. You're gonna get your money's worth.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good show every time.
Absolutely. All right. So why don't you tell us about your debut match? And I'm talking about like a singles or a tag. I'm sure you did a battle royal too.
So when PWA closed, Hippie Dicky Moon, Sammy Diaz, myself, Elijah Six, Dajae Simone, Slade Dangerfield, who, you know, he's taken a big step back. He has a very successful podcast called To Be Blunt. You know, we all were referred to Wags.
Right.
And we were all like kind of like already training. So like we came in just looking for more.
Right.
And so for us, I think all of us got kind of, I don't want to say hot-shotted, but we definitely had a quicker trip to matches in front of live audiences.
Right, right.
And Elijah Six, his first match was again a triple threat with Wags and Hippie Dicky Moon. Like,
wow.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, no doubt.
My first match was a tag match against TJ Johnson, who is TJ Howell III, who eventually ended up being a big tag team partner of mine down the line, and El Jabroni.
Yeah.
And my partner didn't show up. I don't even want to say his name.
All right.
No problem. No problem at all because it all ended up better. I ended up tagging with Dirtbag Dan.
Oh, nice.
You know him?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's great.
Yep.
And it went perfectly. Everybody says like, "Oh, were you nervous?" Like, no. Like, I was with people I knew and people who I knew were good.
Right.
Dirtbag Dan has 20 plus years in the business. Like,
no doubt.
I wasn't worried about anything.
Yep.
It went exactly according to plan. Like,
that's awesome.
I hate to say because so many people have horror stories or say that they were so nervous, but I had already performed Shakespeare on 3 continents.
Oh, okay,
you know
yeah.
I mean, I had already done shit. So stuff. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
For the language.
Don't worry about it. It's all good.
But like, I was just happy to do it.
Yeah.
I just felt more awkward being in spandex.
Right.
Like
at first, right?
I wrestled in high school, and I didn't think about it then.
Did you have tights or shorts?
Singlet.
Singlet. Okay, all right.
Because I'm going to wear a singlet forever.
Okay.
Because I want to rep the fact that I wrestled in high school.
Right.
I was All-State 1 year, 1 out of 3 years. And I love the art of amateur wrestling. I think it's the truest sport.
Right.
It's a person and a person. They are equal size. The only difference might be their training, but is also their heart.
Right.
That's the truest sport I can think of.
Nice. That's awesome.
I'll always rep that. I'll wear a singlet forever, and I always have a belly. So.
Okay. All right. Listen, we got a few fan questions. Let's just jump right into them. This one's not a question, but it's from Coach C, Chris Sanders. Looking forward to this one. Thank you, Coach. And congratulations on the big things you're doing. You know, I think you're doing commentary for Teddy Goods and stuff like that.
He's doing a lot of commentary.
So, very good, Chris. Congratulations.
Coach C has that drive that, like, there's people who look like $1 million. There's people who are 6'7". There's, people who, like, have an in the business who, kind of squander their opportunity.
Right.
Coach C is going to get somewhere.
Nice.
Because he's driven,
Yeah.
because he's smart, and because he loves it.
Right.
And I love the fact that I've ever gotten to work with him.
Nice.
He's awesome.
And he grew up in the business.
Yeah.
His dad.
His dad punched me in the face.
Yeah, his dad, Danger Boy Alfredo.
Yeah.
And who was a partner with Wolverine
Yeah.
for years. I used to read their names in the magazines all the time. I'm like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
So, but then YouTube hit, and I started looking for everybody. I went to Memphis and Jerry Lawler first, though. That was the first thing I started doing. Because I'm a Memphis wrestling guy. I love that.
Yeah.
The old studio stuff.
Oh, yeah, the badass.
Amazing stuff.
Badass.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
I wish I could find that somewhere.
Right.
I think I would do well there.
Yeah, I think you would too.
I would at least exist there.
Isn't NWA's like that, right? The Power Show, I think, is a studio
and
show.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
It's just you got to find the way.
Yep, I hear you. You never know. You'll get there. All right. Joe Grimont, I think that's how you say his name. What's the feeling like knowing you have an army of fans that stick behind you in the Frost Force through thick and thin? Thanks, Joe.
Joey G. It's a little. It can be weird.
Yeah.
Because I started off as a villain. Like
Right.
I wanted to just break all the rules and cut every corner and just get to the top as quick as I could. And if you look back in YouTube or history, you'll find that like I definitely did everything I could just to get over.
Right.
And then the fact that these individuals drive hours to see me and show such glaring, vibrant support for me all the time. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but I'll take it.
Nice.
And I love it, and it definitely keeps. There are times where I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
There are times where I'm like, I'm 42 years old, dude.
I hear you.
Why would I do this
Right.
if I'm not gonna
Yeah.
make money, like be famous? Like,
Yeah.
But I'm doing it because like there's people like them who support me no matter what.
Right.
When I sang for bands, I had fans. When I acted, I had people who came and supported. But like,
Right.
I've never had people like the Frost Force.
That's awesome.
Who are just like so strong in their conviction to make sure that whatever promoter it is, whatever venue it is, whatever I'm doing, they want to make sure that somebody above me knows that I'm appreciated.
Right.
That's wild.
That's awesome. I mean,
unreal.
For them to they come, like you said, drives far to come see their favorite
Hours.
wrestler. That says something about you, though. That's awesome. And
It's hard for me to take.
Right. I just noticed your shirt, Ichiban. That kid is killing it.
He's the best wrestler in the world. He's the
Ichiban.
best wrestler in the world.
He's awesome.
And I would call him a friend.
Yeah.
He has a translator, so we do get to speak.
Right.
I just, he started at Test of Strength. He's a remarkable talent. He's a generational talent. I'm wrestling him on March 30th. I'm wrestling him in a
nice.
couple weeks.
Excellent. We'll be plugging that.
We'll get there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Bob Thorpe, two-part question. What's your pre-show ritual like?
Yeah. There have been times where I was, less focused, and there were times where I was more focused. Like when I started, it was like headphones on, pace a hallway for an hour and a half before the show, and just listen to music and get jacked up. And there have been other days where like I had to work my job, and like I show up 20 minutes before the show, and it's like, okay, so I'm here. Like, how am I going to do this? I think at a certain point, you don't get to have a pre-show ritual.
Right.
I think eventually it's like, what time do I have? Okay, here's what I'm going to get done beforehand. But I do always make sure that I focus mentally on being grateful for the opportunity to do what I love doing.
Nice.
And that's not bullshit. That's
Right. Oh, I
really,
believe that.
like I say I'm just so lucky to do something that I want to do because so many people can't. I have so many friends who are jealous of me.
Right.
They have beautiful families, huge houses, 3 kids. They're jealous of me because I get to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm
Because
like,
they
"You're out of your
probably
mind."
would have loved to have done it too, but they didn't.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just I choose gratitude. I do try to listen to some music, and the music isn't always the same.
Right.
Sometimes I want to listen to Bobby Brown.
Right.
And sometimes I want to listen to Opeth, or you know, sometimes I want to listen to Megadeth. Sometimes I want to listen to TLC.
Yeah.
You never know.
You sound like me, a variety of music. That's me too. I love all kinds. I'm not into like opera or anything like that, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Radio music or, you know, rock. I'm more rock,
Yeah.
but I like everything like you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think there's a better artist than Stevie Wonder who
Right.
ever lived.
There you go.
I don't think, you know, and there's, you know, it's all different. But, you know, some music, a lot of water. I drink so much water.
Yeah. It's good for you.
That's the only reason I'm alive, I'm sure. And then, you know, I think that's about it.
Okay. That's fine.
I don't think there's like a really cool like story about it,
Okay.
unfortunately.
So his second part is you're behind the curtain, your music hits. What goes through your mind as you get ready to hit the ring?
So by the time I'm at the curtain waiting, my music, I'm so fortunate. I had a friend who composed original music for me.
Oh, wow.
I actually have an open invitation to add vocals if I ever want to.
Nice.
And it's got these, like a glockenspiel, which I know is a really random instrument, but it's tones. It's ding, 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 ding. And that starts. So I once the first couple go, I have 7 seconds to like just get there and then go.
Yeah.
So no matter if I was walking up to the curtain and they said, okay, listen, you know, this is how we need, you know, because it's a show,
Right.
you know, it's an event. Sometimes, you know, they throw curveballs at you and things change. When
Yeah,
don't
like
expect
you
it.
have 50 minutes and now you got 12. Something like that, right?
Or 8 and then 4,
Right.
you know. So I'm there, and you know, no matter what anyone said, no matter what anyone does, no matter who's touching me or like being like Frosty, Frosty, once that ding, 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 ding starts, I've got 7 seconds, and then the curtain opens, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't.
7 seconds to get focused.
That's it. And that's all I do is I just shut everything else
Right.
off, and thank God I have that because this is like what I love doing.
Right.
Nothing else. I don't care about work. I love my girlfriend. I'm in a very happy relationship.
Right.
But like, I'm not worrying about that. She's out there. She's watching anyway.
Right.
I'm going out to do the one thing that I know that I was made to do,
Right.
and that's it.
7 seconds to get focused. That's awesome. That was a great answer. The mighty Bosch, who
Yes.
sat in that seat a few times, as a big man in the scene, talk about your most memorable times being taken off your feet. And I know you had commented on it too, but I'm thinking the mighty Bosch might have got you off your feet.
I have said more than once, and I absolutely mean it. There is no one I would trust more to throw me over their head.
Right.
This man has all the strength in the world, and it's like, you know, he's got the superhero deal, and you know, I love it. I love the superhero thing. I think he's an incredible talent and an even better person. But if someone is going to grab me and throw me over their head and land on top of me, I would be glad that it was him.
Right.
Every time. It doesn't happen a lot.
No. You're
doesn't.
a big dude.
You kind of have to be a superhero.
Exactly.
And
He's
you
a-
don't in real life. If I were in WWE,
Yeah.
they're all my size or bigger.
Right.
All those guys throw me.
Yeah.
But around here,
Yeah.
you know, it's Bosch and yeah.
I would imagine maybe Theodore Liftington.
He
Does
certainly
he ever
could.
get you off your feet?
I'm lucky enough that we haven't crossed horns
Okay.
that much because
He's so strong.
he's an exceedingly imposing
Yes.
individual. Me, him, and Bosch kind of have a thing. The last time we were in the ring together was a battle royal at RWA.
Yeah.
And there was a point where it looked like the three of us were just throwing everyone else out. And I don't know, maybe I got a little jealous because him and Bosch have already been friends, but Bosch is my friend. And Lift hoisted me over his head and threw me out.
Oh!
As big as I am.
Right?
So that's it. And then we shook hands, and I made a meme of it because the handshake looked like Arnold, or not Arnold, Sly Stallone and Carl Weathers.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Over the top.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was Carl
Yeah.
Weathers. It looked like that, so I made a meme out of it because it was hilarious.
Nice.
But
Yeah, well, Theodore's got the strongman gimmick, too. I mean, like you said, you have to be like a superhero. He may not be a superhero, but he's a strong guy.
I always say, one of my things, my catchphrases is, I'm as big, as strong, as tough, and as mean as anybody, but also smarter.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. Excellent.
Theodore Liftington is one of the people, maybe he's stronger than me.
Wow.
It's possible.
Okay. Jerry Lane. You know Jerry? Wrestler fan, an older gentleman. I'm sure. I'll show you a
what
picture
area?
off here. I know you know Jerry. He's seen you a million times. He's at all the shows.
I'm sure I do.
What's it been like training under Slick Wagner Brown at Test of Strength? Great question, Jerry.
Slick is, so here's the best answer to that I can think of. I've taken a ton of seminars. I take all the seminars.
That's
man.
good.
And people say, oh, well, you're a mark because you're paying this money for these guys. And it's like, no,
Smart is what you are.
I want the feedback from these guys when they see me do things. And I also want the connection. Like the next time I see them at a booking, they're going to remember that I shook their hand and said, hey, thank you for the opportunity.
That's right.
Every seminar I go to, more than once during the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, they just say the same stuff Wagner says all the time.
Yeah.
Going to Test of Strength is like a constant wrestling seminar where you're going to learn everything you're supposed to learn. He can, I don't want to say he could be harsh because he's, back in the day, they made you take 50 bumps for nothing.
Right.
Like just go hurt your body.
Yep.
Go destroy your body so that we can feel better about ourselves. That's not how it is anymore.
Oh, good.
And Wagner Brown, I mean, maybe it is in some places, but Wagner Brown, he wants you to know why you're bumping when you're bumping. He wants you to know why everything works. And my communication and his communication don't always line up. So sometimes I'm like, what are you saying? And he's like, I said this. And I'm like, I don't get that. And he's like, well, it's this. And I'm like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
For me personally.
Right.
And then we eventually find out what we're saying. He is an absolute genius. He should be in Orlando teaching the next generation of talent. I say the same thing about Just Incredible.
Yeah.
These guys have such incredible minds for it. And when you get to pick their brains, like you learn so much.
Yeah.
So to be his student and to be there is an incredible opportunity for anybody, let alone myself.
Nice. Now, I know, like we said, Bobby Ocean's a coach too. Is there any other coaches at the Test of Strength? Or is it just basically the two of them?
The funny thing is people show up.
Nice.
People just come to class. Sometimes it's Antonio Thomas, and it's like,
Another guy with a lot of knowledge.
Shoot, now I gotta, I just came to practice. Now I gotta work. I don't mean to say that about practice. You're always supposed to practice.
No, of course. I know you just joke.
Sometimes Wrecking Ball shows up.
Nice.
Like a lot of times, there's been guys that I'm like, whoa. Reggie from WWE shows up.
Wow.
Not all the time.
No, I hear you.
Obviously, he's busy.
Right.
But he came and learned a lot before he embarked on WWE.
Nice.
He came to Test of Strength.
Nice.
You actually kind of never know who will show up.
And that's great that you do the seminars. I tell young wrestlers all the time, man, if you don't take advantage of those things, you're crazy.
I understand what some people are saying because there is a degree of pay me $30 to sit and listen to me talk. That can be kind of like, you're robbing me,
Right. No, I hear
especially if you don't get anything out of it.
Right.
But if you pay attention,
Yes, you should get
you're
something
going to
out
get
of each
something
guy.
out of it.
That's right.
You know, every seminar I've done, I've learned something that I've taken with me.
Right.
Even if it wasn't like the coolest hold or the weirdest move or, you know, the best way to make money. You know, guys like Bob Evans, right?
Yep.
Guys like, I'm trying to think of guys who do seminars a lot. Like the Hanks with Bob seminars, I went to Ohio with them for a weekend.
Nice.
I did, 8 hours of Bob Evans seminars over the course of 3 days. Around matches.
Yeah.
Like it was a match this place and the seminar, match this
Right.
place, seminar, match this place, seminar. I did 8 hours of Bob Evans seminars and I was not bored for a single second.
Wow.
Not 1 second was I like, oh, I've already heard this, or oh, this doesn't apply to me. Like the whole thing was interesting.
Right. Yeah. No, Bob has got so much knowledge of the right, and he's trained so many people. He really has. Bob's a guy who wants sitting in that chair one of these days.
He'll definitely do it.
Oh, I can't wait. I think he'll do it.
I'll text him the second I get up.
Awesome. Michael Pataro, who happens to be the politician's brother, you know, the politician.
Oh, I love the politician.
Yeah. All right. What's your gym routine like?
So, even when I was in high school and wrestling, like amateur wrestling, I was never a gym goer. It wasn't really.
Right.
I was always just like strong anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't go. When I started tagging with Big Jim Anderson, he was like, we got to get to the gym.
The late Jim Anderson, correct? Yeah.
We were tag team champions when he passed.
Wow.
In NWWE for Trooper Gilmore.
A very well loved guy by a lot of people.
You know, so he was like, we have to get to the gym. And I was like, okay, well, you know, we'll go, whatever. And there was a post of me when I was the hardcore champion somewhere, like leaning against the ring, and my arms were so tiny. Like I didn't know back then. I didn't even realize it.
Right.
And he commented, there's such a thing as push-ups. And I was like, oh, okay.
Jim's
okay.
a big dude. Was a big dude.
Yeah, monster.
Big dude.
So, so we started going to the gym together, and you know, I still have in my phone. I have the 3 days each. You know, because we would go anywhere between 4 and 6 days a week, and each day would be a different. You know, there were back and buys, chest and tries, shoulders and legs.
Yep.
I have all the workouts that we did written down still. So, you know, since we became very, very close before he passed. And I just do those workouts when I go to the gym.
Nice.
I do, you know, because I don't know any different because I don't have any other trainers. And I go to the same gym that we went to, so I know all the equipment, all the machines, all the free weights are all the same.
Right.
So that's what I do. I've gained some weight recently. I stopped drinking for a while, and I thought the weight was going to melt off, and I just gained weight. It was weird.
Yeah. Maybe you substituted eating for drinking. I don't know, right?
It might be said.
I know I put a little weight when I first stopped smoking because I was eating more. And then I realized you got to calm down or I'll be freaking 300 pounds sitting on the couch, you know?
Yeah.
All right. He has another question. What do you want to add to your moveset that is just a bit out of your reach right now? He can do anything, Michael. What are you talking about?
I'm not gonna say anything. I can't do anything. It was a super crazy seminar, actually, where I asked him via translator because he wasn't speaking a lot of English. You know, I can do like more than I do. Like I could do more stuff, like aerial stuff and like athletic stuff. And he was like, if I was your size, I would never have done a moonsault. Really? He was like, don't. If you don't have to, don't.
Right. That's
I
true.
was like, all right, well, then I guess I won't.
Nice.
But I do. Every match I have, every single match, and I know this is like kind of derivative, but every match I have, I try to do something different than the last match or something that I've never done.
Nice.
You know, whether it's a different kind of up and over twist deal, whether it's a different offensive maneuver, I always try to do at least one thing that's new. Just to keep it fresh for myself, to keep it fresh for the fans.
That's awesome. Because, you know, like they always say things, oh, Ric Flair, you see him wrestle once, you see him a million times, you know, because he does the same match over
He had
and
a good
over.
match.
But he is the greatest wrestler, man.
He had a great match.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't have to change it much.
All right. Philly Anella Trollman. Do you know that person?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
We're familiar.
How did
He's a Frost Force guy.
How did It's All About the Frost Force chant begin?
So I was feuding with the Mission, who is a group led by Dan the Man.
Okay.
You must know who Dan the Man.
Oh yeah, he's a jerk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He can be. So I was fighting them. His group they're a cult. They're really a cult.
Right.
And they would always say, it's all about the Mission. And the Frost Force, I had the Frost Force by then, and they would say, it's all about the Frost Force. So I have been told that I don't have, like, at a point in the match when the hero is just like knocking everybody down, pa, 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 and then,
Right.
I've been told that I'm a little demure with my, I don't really get super energetic.
Right.
And to go to the Frost Force and be like, it's all about the Frost Force, help me like kind of open that up a
Nice.
little, get a bigger fire, So that's how that started.
That's awesome. All right, Greg Jones Isaacson, who was here just a couple of weeks ago with all the signs. Hey, Leo, be sure to ask Biggie Frosty if he prefers vanilla or chocolate. Now, just to backshot, guys, on Facebook, he put Ryan's face on a Frosty from Wendy's. Instead of the Wendy's, we got Ryan.
It was horrific. It was terrifying, but it was good. And he added freckles.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. It was terrifying.
He's good at making signs and stuff, so.
My buddy Al, Alex Rojas, the GM of Test of Strength,
Yes.
and he runs Legacy is Timeless, which he's trying to include as much of the Kowalski legacy as he can in these big shows. His son Jeter, who, they're close to me, so that they're all family. Jeter will go to Wendy's and order a Ryan Frosty. And then the person, on the other end will be like, a what? And he'll be like, I'm sorry, a vanilla Frosty. It's just very funny.
Yeah.
You can't get vanilla anymore. It's going to have to be creamsicle or chocolate now.
Oh, wow. I kind of like creamsicle, too.
I want to try it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. This is from me. What song in your playlist would surprise me?
Would surprise you?
Yeah. Just for example, I have a Kelly Clarkson song on my playlist.
Okay.
That might surprise people.
Well, I think most people in wrestling and sports would not know that I'm much of a singer and actor because we talked about it. I went to school for acting and everything. When I go to karaoke, I do like Britney, I do Lady Gaga, I do NSYNC.
Wow.
I do all these pop songs.
Yeah.
But I sing them like rock songs.
Okay.
And the viewer might be surprised at how well it fits.
Nice.
Because these are some driving songs that just are with synthesizers instead of guitars.
Right.
And it sounds pretty cool, actually.
That's awesome. I like to karaoke myself. I love to do Danzig's Mother. That's one of my favorites.
Fantastic song. People ask me to sing it a lot.
Yeah. That and Our Name from the Goo Goo Dolls is another one.
Oh, okay.
And then there's Grand Funk Railroad, Some Kind of Wonderful, that I always sing for my girl.
That's a good one.
And I kill it. I sang that with a live band in Aruba. It was awesome.
Do you have a video?
No, because nobody took it. It's my God, that's a whole thing, man. I was mad at everybody there was like 6 of us, and nobody took a video. I was pissed.
I'm pissed.
Yeah. All right. Well, you had a feud with Just Incredible, and you had a match that became part of a music video in an upcoming documentary. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, I would love to. Incredible, PJ, and I have actually gotten close. We're from the same town.
Right, okay.
And there were 100 times over the years when he was wrestling, when I wasn't, that we crossed paths.
Right.
We lived in the same condo complex by mistake. I was a kid.
Wow.
I mean, I was in high school.
Right.
And he was in ECW. And
Yeah,
we lived in the same condo complex.
Wow.
His mailbox, his cubicle mailbox had an ECW sticker on it. And I was
No
like,
kidding.
that must be just incredible.
Yeah. That's wild.
So we have crossed paths so many times over the years, and then even later on after wrestling, when he was working in restaurants, I'd be working in a restaurant and going to visit friends and see him, and so we've been like friendly acquaintances for a very long time. And then this opportunity came where I was doing an event in Ludlow, Massachusetts for Battlefront Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm off today. You wanna hit the promoter up, just see if if he wants me there, if I can show up even." And Dan Gore, who was running the promotion, was like, "Oh my God, yes, bring him." So
Nice.
So we got to. What happened was my buddy Scott, who was in a band called Crossing Rubicon, that did very, very well. Wanted to shoot a music video that was pro wrestling themed, so he was at Battlefront to do that, and I was pissed because I was like, "What are you doing? Like, this is my thing. This is me.
Yeah.
I'm here wrestling, not you."
Right.
And he said, "Well, if you want to be in the video, you got to fight Justin Credible." And I was like, "I'll fight him." And then I beat Scott up, and then Justin Credible came out and saved him.
Yeah.
And then I said, "If you promise me he won't be just incarcerated when we film this video, I'll do it." PJ went to jail.
Wow.
A little bit of drama that genuinely was not his fault.
Right.
Like, I know the internet roasts him all the time, and I think people should be a little more empathetic at times.
I think so too. More respectful, honestly.
This instance was not his fault because I know exactly what happened.
Right.
And anyway, he wasn't available for January 5th, my birthday, for our match. Wow. That's how I wrestled and met Bob Evans.
Oh, wow.
Actually, and that's how we became friendly.
Nice.
And I earned a mentor.
Yeah.
So then later on, I get into a match with my friend Scott because I'm so pissed that he wants to come here and steal my spotlight.
Yeah.
Lumberjack match. We fight. Justin Credible comes in and saves Scott and his wife because I caned the shit out of both of them.
You caned his wife?
I did.
Wow.
I was a bad guy for a little while.
I hear you. That's wild. And you also wrestled the Sandman and you beat the Sandman. He was probably drunk though.
I actually believe he was sober at the time. Wow. He comes down and he does the beers.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think he was like drinking.
I got an awesome Sandman story I'll tell you off here. Awesome.
I want to hear it.
Oh, yeah.
But we had a good time. It was
Nice.
a lot of fun. He beat the tar out of me. I snuck away with the win. And then Kev Manser, a young gentleman with Down syndrome who took part in the events, came down afterwards, clotheslined me and pinned me for the hardcore title.
Wow. Nice.
Good
Good job.
After the Sandman took it out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very, very cool night.
Nice. And while seeing that we're on the ECW theme, you also wrestled Shane Douglas in Ohio.
I did.
For BOTB Wrestling.
Yeah, you did your research.
Of course.
Yeah. I did. I was very lucky to fight Shane Douglas at Battle on the Border. Denham Blevins runs a great promotion out there. Him and his brother were running it. His brother passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Jeremy, it's like it's all stories. It's all sad story.
Yeah.
But I did get to work with Shane in a tag match, and Shane Douglas is actually one of the greatest influences on me. Promos, wrestling.
Incredible.
I don't think he gets enough credit from anyone.
he definitely doesn't, because more people try to hop on his WWF run where he got sabotaged. Mm-hmm. Because Shane Douglas is an incredible worker, phenomenal on every single aspect of pro wrestling.
And then getting to know him a little bit,
Right.
Talking to this incredibly intelligent individual.
Yeah.
And I asked him if he would watch my match and give me feedback, thinking, he's putting on his boots. We were the first match of the night. He didn't, he was in the main event. Like, I didn't expect anything. He gave me something written down.
That's awesome. That's
He
awesome.
gave me written down advice.
Yeah. And that don't surprise me because I met Shane and he just seemed like one of the nicest freaking guys
super
around.
Cool.
Really. All right. Now you brought him up earlier. You've known Ron Zombie for decades and played a lot of the same local shows. And you did wrestle him, you had said.
I did.
Could you tell us about that experience wrestling Ron Zombie?
So we had found a brand new venue with Test of Strength. It was the first road venue outside of our original road venue. And it was in Naugatuck, Connecticut, which is close to Waterbury, Connecticut, which is Ron Zombie country. And I was there visiting the venue, just confirming that we were going to have an event. And I got a text from Wagner that said, hey, cool, I got your match all set. And I was like, oh, cool. All right. And then I got a message from Ron
Yeah.
that said, what are you doing this date? And I was like, I'm wrestling. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm like, whoa.
Nice.
Because to me, like, Ron Zombie has a really good thing with NEW,
Right.
with Lombardi, which
Right.
we already talked about.
Yep.
And I've never seen him wrestle outside of there locally. So I didn't think that was even possible.
Right.
And it was really cool. We had a great bar fight, went all over the venue. Like,
Nice.
It was awesome. He's so cool. You know, we're
He's been
friendly.
wrestling a long time
long
too,
time.
man.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Sally's a Pizza, the best pizza in the world? Because that's what Ron says that.
He does. I know his.
And it looks phenomenal. I will
Never
say
had
that. No, never. And I definitely want to. I think there's one in Massachusetts now. I'm pretty sure there is.
I think if you're going to New Haven Sally's, you got to go
Yeah.
to New Haven
Okay.
Sally's. But I do not subscribe to that opinion. Of all the pizzas in New Haven, and I know there's Pepe's and Sally's and Modern, there's a place called Bar. It's just BAR, and grill me on the internet, murder me on the internet, but I like Bar better than any of them.
There you go.
Personally.
I think that guy Dave Portney went there too, and did a pizza review.
Oh, he does them. Yeah.
Pretty sure he did one
I'm
for
sure.
that place.
He's done-
and it was a good score, like 7-7, 7-5.
Oh, sure.
Something like that.
No, it's very good pizza.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Right.
you know, because in Connecticut we end up being pizza snobs and arguing over which one's better.
Right.
I'm going to lean with Bar myself.
There you go. All right. You're also a 3-time former tag team champion. You had said one of them was with the great late Jim Anderson.
Yes.
And who else were you tag team champs with?
After Jim passed, I was still with New World Wrestling Extreme with Trooper Gilmore, and I was lucky enough that I was able to rebuild the stable that we had called the Humidor. King Leon retired from active
I know the
competition.
King. He was here.
Oh, he's great. He's awesome. He was in the group with us. He retired from in-ring competition, and Jim passed. So it was like Big Smoke and myself had to rebuild this entire stable.
Right.
And we brought in High Voltage Omar, but they didn't just give us the belts. We had to fight to earn them back.
Right.
And we won. So
Nice.
that was my other partner, and I love the man. HVO is awesome. He's been super cool to me forever. Just a really good spirit.
Yeah.
And a tough BA dude. And we defended him a couple times and beat up some people. But the third one, Bob Evans asked me if I could work in Pennsylvania for 3 dates. I said, yeah, sure. So we came down. I was a Beastmaster. And I know that Nick Steele is
Yes, the
huge
late, great
name.
Nick Steele.
Huge name around here.
Yes.
And I did not have the good fortune of meeting the individual,
Right.
but the people I've talked to in learning about him, like I know that it is huge that I even had a chance to pretend to be a Beastmaster.
Yeah.
So PPH and I went to Pennsylvania. We won their tag team championships, and we had a chance to defend them against Team Baby Daddy, which sounds really silly, but they are outstanding talents.
Nice.
Anybody in the Northeast should book Team Baby Daddy.
Okay.
Anytime you want to prove that your tag team is any good, have them go against them.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. And also you became a hardcore champ doing an anti-hardcore gimmick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, actually. I really enjoyed that. Dirtbag Dan, who I'm very friendly with, he was in my first match. Him and his stable, the Filthy Family, were defending both the Battlefront Tag Team Championships and Hardcore Championships.
Right.
So they were defending the Tag Team Championships in a match. So I grabbed Ref Bill Thompson.
Yeah.
Great guy, love him. Grabbed him, dragged him out, and said, right now, hardcore title match, because they were defending it Freebird style and 24/7.
Okay.
Both the tag team and the hardcore championships.
All right.
So I said, right now. He said, right now? I said, yeah. So I grabbed their third guy, Johnny Chill,
Yep.
and I put him in my move, hit him on the outside of the ring while Dirtbag and Big Cow were in the ring,
Right.
defending the tag titles, pinned him on the floor for the hardcore title.
Nice.
Walked away with it.
That's awesome.
And then once Sandman beat me up,
Yeah.
Kev Manser pinned me for it. Later that night, I had a pretty girl, Angel Sinclair.
Oh, she's beautiful. I love
Isn't
Angel.
she pretty?
She sure is.
She distracted him. I schoolboyed him. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Got my belt back. So a 2-time hardcore champion.
Nice. I just want to backtrack for a second.
Sure.
Because you brought up Nick Steele.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I only met Nick once. And now the best way for me to describe, he couldn't have been nicer to me.
I believe it.
Honestly, you would have, honestly, one of the nicest guys I've ever met, honestly.
I believe it. Everything I've heard from anyone about him,
Yeah.
just a gem of a human being.
Yeah, next week I got Ryan Drew
Oh, cool.
in here, and I'm going to hit him up earlier and say, hey, man, I definitely want some Nick Steele stories
Yes.
on the episode. I really do.
That's
you
awesome.
know? All right, let's see. You recently debuted for Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling.
Yes. Yep.
And how did that go? In a scramble match with talent from MLW and Wrestling Open.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was BRG in the match?
He was.
Because that's where I figured the MLW
Little
came.
bastard. And Ichiban.
Ichiban. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's working for him, too. Nice.
Contracted talent.
And how did that match go?
Well, it was great. We were in Ludlow. We were in the same building where I won that hardcore title.
Yep.
And I loved that building, and I hadn't been there in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And they hadn't had wrestling in 4 years. Or
kidding.
3 years. I think there was some more Battlefront. So it might have been 3 years. But it was a benefit for the high school wrestling team.
Nice.
And I reached out to Al, the GM, Al Rojas from Heel Shit. And I said, hey, tell Tunis I'll do this one,
Yep.
for free. Like I
Nice.
want to be there
Yeah.
and help the fundraiser and everything.
That's cool.
And they showed nothing but respect and good vibes and they welcomed me and they gave me a great match to be in.
That's awesome.
It was awesome
That is cool.
to be in that building, to work with those guys. And it was really good. BRG ended up, I hit Stetson
Yep.
with my move. I was about to pin him. BRG knocked me out of the ring and stole it. That shady little.
Yeah, he's quick, too, that kid.
He's very good though.
Yeah, he is. He's really doing well.
What are you gonna say?
Yeah, I've had him on a few times, and I'd love to have him on again, but I definitely would love to have Hammer Tunis in here. Hammer Tunis, I'd
He's
love
got
for you to
stories.
come down.
He's got stories.
I'm sure he does. Now,
Great
there's
mind.
another Tunis wrestler. Is that his son or his brother? His brother, his
Jason.
younger brother.
His brother Jason.
I was going to say, because Hammer don't look old enough to have a kid that old.
He debuted
Oh, yes.
that Sunday
Nice.
a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
Did a hell of a job.
That's awesome.
I mean, of course he did.
Yeah. Of
He's
course.
training with Antonio. He's
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
Tunis's. He's Hammer's brother. Cheat code. Like, of course you're good.
That's awesome. Listen, we're not going to get to the name game. We got 3.5 minutes, and I told you some other questions I had. What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Best. Have you ever heard of Blind Guardian?
Actually, yeah, I
A
have.
German power metal band. I don't think there's a better band in the world. They're unbelievable. I've seen them a couple times. Iron Maiden puts on the best show of anybody, usually. Those two, I think.
Okay. What about the worst concert you've been to?
I went to see Jurassic 5, a hip-hop group out of the West Coast. I went to see them at Tuxedo Junction in Danbury, Connecticut. They were 2 hours late.
Wow.
And they came out and like the song was playing, but I don't think they were rapping, and then they left.
So
And it was like, well,
they did one song?
kind of. I don't even know if they really did it.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucked.
That's nuts.
It sucked. I blame the venue. I don't blame
Right,
them.
right. I just got to tell you mine real quick. I saw Rat Karaoke, and what I mean by that is the only original member was the drummer, Bobby Blotzer, and he came out and started talking, and everybody turned on him. Go back and play the drums. Shut up. Oh yeah, everybody turned on him. It was crazy.
Sad but funny.
Yeah. All right. What's a concert? What's a group that you'd love to see that you haven't?
Shoot.
Because I'm sure there's many.
I think it'd be cool to see Tool.
Oh, yeah.
Because I never have, and I know
Yeah.
he's so weird and eclectic, but like that would be fun probably.
I missed him by one day. I went down and fed AAF with the wrestling thing, and he was in AAF the day before. Sterling James Keaton, right? So that his name?
Maynard.
Maynard. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I want to see Bruno Mars really bad.
Ooh, he is good. He's
unbelievable.
real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, what about what's your favorite movie franchise? Like, Rocky, Fast and Furious. There's so many.
I mean, I grew up reading comic books, so I did love all the Marvel stuff going up into Infinity War and all that.
Yeah.
I haven't watched as much since. I don't find the time to watch things.
Okay.
But I love the fact that the special effects finally could present, like when Iron Man was so good.
Right.
And the special effects could finally like do it live.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I didn't love the Hobbit 3 movies,
Right.
but the Lord of the Rings movies,
Yeah.
like the special effects finally caught up with something.
Yeah. Well, why don't you plug anything you got to plug? Social media, shows coming up, and don't worry about the time. Just
Well, Legacy is Timeless presents Certified on the 30th. It's in Manchester, Connecticut, which is, not close to here, but not
Right.
that far. I got Ichiban in the first round for the first match to determine the first champion of Legacy is Timeless. It's going to be 3 different 8-man tournaments.
Wow.
And then the 4th event will have a triple to decide. You've got guys like Ichiban, myself, Channing Thomas, both Flash and Kylon from the IWTV Tag Team Championships.
the Miracle Generation.
I believe Ryan Clancy's in it. It's everybody, man. It's everybody you could think. Patrick Saint, Red Sawyer, everybody you could think of is in this tournament. It's going to be huge. We're the first match of the first round, and either of us you would expect kind of to go to the finals, to be honest.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a big one.
That's awesome.
That's the next thing coming up.
All right. Well, Ryan, thanks for coming on, man.
thank you so much.
If you live so far, I'd have you back right away. But if you ever want to come back, you're more than welcome. But
I got to come back for the name game.
exactly.
Because that sounds fun.
Guys, we're out. Peace.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Listen, I could use a little help to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could please like, share, and subscribe. That's most importantly, subscribe. Send me a direct message, and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. My YouTube channel is real simple. It's just my name, Leo Connors. Thanks in advance. Peace.